Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Henson. Today we'll be talking about the endocrine system. Hopefully you might have heard of the endocrine system. It simply means the hormonal system. But the word endocrine actually doesn't mean hormonal. It means, it's actually referring to the glands or the organs in our body which produce these hormones. Endocrine simply means a ductless gland. Okay, and all of our ductless glands in our bodies release or secrete what we call hormones. So let's have a look at what some of these different organs or glands actually look like and see which ones we can recognize. So I just want you now to pause the video very quickly and have a look at the organs that you can see and see which ones you recognize. Do that now, please. Okay, so probably the main ones that you've been able to identify are these ones, this one here. This is the pancreas. Okay, so the pancreas is an endocrine organ because it secretes a hormone called insulin. Okay, here are our kidneys, and just above our kidneys we have what we call the adrenal glands. Okay, and you probably know which hormone they produce. The hormone they produce is called adrenaline. Okay, you also have the reproductive glands. Okay, one of them being the testes, which obviously produce the hormone testosterone in males, and we have in females the ovaries. Okay, which produce estrogen and progesterone, okay, which are two of the female reproductive hormones. Okay, we also have glands in our brains. Okay, we have the hypothalamus and the pituitary, which are these two glands here, which also secrete hormones. Okay, but you might not have come across these before. So these are all endocrine glands or ductless glands, because what that means is they actually release hormones directly into the blood, okay? And they don't travel down a passageway from that gland into another organ, okay? They're actually traveling around the body within the blood. So that's what we mean by a ductless gland. Okay, so what is a hormone, first of all? So the first thing is that they're chemicals, okay? They're chemical signals as opposed to electrical signals, which we find in the nervous system. They're secreted by glands. Okay, so we call those, remember, the endocrine glands or the ductless glands. They're carried in the blood, so they're carried from the gland to its target organ by the blood supply. Okay, when there is too much of that hormone in the blood and we need to reduce the level of it, okay, they're transported to the liver and they're destroyed by the liver or broken down. Their effects are very, very slow but can be long lasting. So if you think about puberty, okay, the onset of puberty is brought about by increases in testosterone and in females estrogen. So when testosterone levels rise, it causes all these changes to happen in the body, but those changes happen very slowly and over a period of years as opposed to happening, okay, right in the next 2 seconds, which is what happens in our nervous system. So the effects are often slow, but they're very, very long lasting. Okay, so our main glands, as we talked about before, the ones that we really need to remember are these ones. Our adrenal glands, which produce adrenaline. The pancreas, okay, produces insulin and glucagon. And the testes, which produce testosterone. And the ovaries, which are producing estrogen. Okay. So, fight or flight, okay? Now there's the hormone that we often associate with the fight or flight response is adrenaline. Adrenaline is a very interesting hormone, okay, but because it brings about very, very fast responses. Okay, now if you remember, very fast responses in our body are usually coordinated by our nervous system. So in reflexes like blinking or our knee jerk or pulling our hand away from a very hot pot, that's usually controlled by our nervous system. But our flight or fight response is brought about by the hormone adrenaline. Now, as I said before, adrenaline is produced by the adrenal gland, which is on top of the kidneys, okay, which are here and here. So we have two adrenal glands, not just one. And what do they do? Okay, so by releasing adrenaline to the body, it can do affect a number of different responses. So what might actually cause that to happen is blood flow to muscles to increase. Okay, so if the blood is flowing to muscles more readily, it means they're getting more oxygen. It means they're getting more glucose. Okay, and so they're getting ready for action. They can respire faster if they've got more oxygen and glucose. Okay, and produce more energy, which means they can work faster and work harder. So if the body is needed to, if an organism is needing to fight or run away from a predator, for instance, that is very useful to have all that energy. The heart is also going to speed up. And you can imagine if our muscles are needing more oxygen and are needing more glucose, then our heart is going to need to pump faster and harder, okay, in order to send all that oxygen and glucose around the body. Okay, our breathing rate, so our lungs are going to start ventilating faster. We're going to be inhaling, exhaling faster, getting more oxygen into the body, and we're going to be releasing more carbon dioxide. Okay, so there are four of the main ones, but a couple of others are your senses and your perception might sharpen up, okay, and time might seem to slow down a little bit, okay, to help deal with the situation that you're in. Okay, so adrenaline is a really, really useful hormone. Okay, so what I want you to do now is quickly pause the video. I would like you to complete this table, please. Okay, thinking about or comparing hormonal responses versus nervous responses. Okay, now if you're not sure on the answers to this question, you can actually look at the revision notes that are on the website. Okay, you can also have a look in your textbook. Okay, a similar table lies in your textbook, but try and complete it first without using your textbook. See if you can figure out what the missing words are in each box. Okay, do that now, please. Pause your video and try and have a go at that now. Okay, so in the same video, we're going to be looking at plant hormones because, of course, animals aren't the only organisms which produce hormones. Plants also produce hormones and use them for a variety of different reasons. Now, the good news is we're only going to be talking about one plant hormone today, and there's only one that you kind of need to remember. Okay, and that hormone is called auxin. All right, so in humans, the main hormone we were talking about was adrenaline, which prepares us for fight or flight. In plants, we're going to be talking about the hormone auxin. So auxin is a really useful plant hormone. Okay, we're just going to have a very quick look at a plant and animation. But basically, what happens is, obviously, you know that plant stems will grow towards sunlight. Okay, so if the sun is directly above them, okay, the plant stem will grow directly upwards. And what's causing it to grow in that direction, okay, is this auxin. And when the sun is directly overhead, auxin is released equally along both sides, okay, of your plant, okay, causing, okay, and what auxin does in stems, it causes elongation. So it causes plant stems to become elongated. Now you can see in this picture here, look, all right, that the sun is not directly overhead. The sun is over to the right-hand side, and you can see that this shoot or this stem has started to grow in this direction. Okay, now the reason why that is happening is because the auxin is being transported to this side of the plant. And so the auxin is causing the cells on this side to become elongated or to grow longer than the cells on this side. And so as these cells grow, these cells stay the same size, and the plant begins to bend to the right-hand side, okay? Now we call that a positive phototropism. Photo meaning light, tropism meaning growth, and positive because it's growing towards the light, okay? So we call that a positive phototropism. Now we're going to look at a quick animation, very quick animation to see how that works. Okay, so if you keep an eye on this. Now this word here, coleoptile, just simply means young shoot, okay? So it's not really important, just means young shoot. Okay, so the light again is coming from this side, look. Okay, auxin, okay, is being redistributed on the left side, causing these cells to be elongated, causing the plant stem to bend to the right. Okay, pretty straightforward really, okay? Now where this gets a little bit tricky is when we start to see how this works in roots, okay? Because in fact, what scientists have realized is that different parts of the plant have different levels of sensitivity to auxin. So in the stem of the plant, it causes those cells to elongate or get longer. Whereas in the roots, what they've figured out is that auxin actually prevents cells from growing. So it has the opposite effect. So we said that plants can grow in relation to light, and we call that a phototropism. When the roots are growing in relation to gravity, we call that a geotropism. Okay, geo meaning the gravitational pull of the earth, tropism meaning growth, and positive because it's growing towards the direction of gravity. Okay, so let's have a look at this quick diagram here, and we can see how that works. So remember what I said, in the roots, it's the opposite effect. Okay, in roots, it's stopping the cells from elongating. So if you can imagine here that this is a root which is growing along the soil. So imagine the soil is here, okay, underneath this root. Now, the root tip is going to want to grow down into that soil. So what happens is the root is lying above it, okay, you can see auxin accumulates at the bottom, okay, of the root. And this is the root tip, okay, and this is the bottom side of the root. So auxin is going to accumulate there, and it's going to prevent these cells from getting longer, okay? Now, low concentrations of auxin at the top cause these cells now to elongate, and the tip starts to grow downwards into the soil. So we call that a positive geotropism, okay? But it's the opposite. The auxin is having the opposite effect, which is really, really interesting and kind of not really what you'd think at all. Now, that's kind of all we need to know about plant hormones and hormones in general, okay? We've gone over that really, really quickly. So I'm sure you might want to do a little bit more background reading, read the revision notes, make sure you're up to scratch on everything. Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you soon.